A man by the name of Nicholas Negroponte once said, "Computing is not about computers anymore. It's about living." Now, I don't know about you, but the computer takes up a majority of my time, from online classes to the ever so popular Facebook. However, the world hasn't always known the fast, portable, sleek computers we've all come to know and love today. In fact, the journey to the invention of the first digital computer has been a long one, and I'm here to take you through it. Nowadays, one is bombarded with computers. From phones that double as word processors and gateways to the World Wide Web, to the businesses and homes that rely on the internet and computers daily. In a 2003 study conducted by the U.S. Census Bureau, over 63% of households were found to have owned computers. I'm not complaining, though. After all, how else would I have gotten this speech written? And how would you all complete the daily work that you have at work? But enough about the present. Let's begin with the past. We're going way, way back to an invention by the Chinese in 3000 BC. Yes, this is where the journey begins. Next, we'll make a pit stop in France with one of the world's most renowned scientists, and again in England with the father of computing. We'll make our last stop with the invention of the world's first digital computer and the beginning of life as we know it. To begin, I'd like each of you to picture your perception of a computer. What do you see? Do you see a shiny machine that can sit on your lap, complete with internet, instant messaging, word processors, games, and the occasional work? According to a book published by Florida State University, a computer is a machine that performs mathematical computations with mechanical or electronic means. Our computers may be capable of doing far beyond the latter, but believe me, it's taken a while. From the beginning of time, computers have been paving their way to creation. We will begin our journey in 3000 BC with the invention of the first abacus, which was used to perform arithmetic processes. Look familiar? It should. The abacus is used in elementary schools across the nation and helps children learn to count and do math. As you can see, the abacus is a very simple invention, comprised of sliding beads, but the Chinese were far ahead of their time. It wasn't until about 4,000 years later, in 1642, that the next important step in the invention of the first computer emerged. That is the first digital calculating machine. One of Blaise Pascal's first inventions. It's also known as Pascal's calculator. This machine could only handle 5-digit numbers, which were entered by the large dials on its side. The machine was said to be very portable, but not anywhere as near as portable as the pocket-sized equipment we use for calculations now. Next came the first mechanical computing device, otherwise known as the analytical engine. The machine is credited with being the world's first computer, not to be confused with the world's first digital computer, and was invented by Charles Babbage, the father of computing. Unfortunately, due to Babbage's death, the machine was inevitably put off and never finished. It would have been able to store up to 1,000 50-digit numbers and utilize punch cards for input. It was also supposed to have a printer. Sounds pretty close to the modern computer, except it was obviously a lot larger. The electronic computer has been around for about a half a century, but its predecessors have been around for 5,000 years. From the very first wooden abacus to the analytical engine, and everything in between, one thing is for sure, without all this, the first digital computer would not come to be. Now on to what you have all been waiting for, the first digital computer. In 1937, John Vincent Atanasoff and Clifford Berry began working on the Atanasoff-Berry computer. The computer was built here in America at Iowa State University. According to the Department of Computer Science at Iowa State, it incorporated several major innovations in computers, such as binary arithmetic regenerative memory, parallel processing, and the separation of memory and computing functions. The final product was the size of a deck, weighed 700 pounds, and had over 300 vacuum tubes. It also contained a mile of wire. Oddly enough, despite all of the equipment put into it, the computer was designed solely for one purpose: to solve linear equations. As inventions do, the machine had its drawbacks. It was extremely slow, required constant operator monitoring, and was not programmable. In 1948, just 6 short years after its release, Iowa State University officials dismantled the ABC computer in order to gain more storage space. Atanasoff had no idea. The Atanasoff Berry computer broke barriers in the 1940s. From there on out, it was only constantly perfected and redesigned to do more and more. Eventually, computers like Mac and Dell were introduced and took over the workplace and home life. As you can see, the computer has definitely come a long way, from all the way in 3000 BC to now in 2009. But every invention I mentioned has made the computer what it is today. John Atanasoff said, "I have always taken the position that there is enough credit for everyone in the invention and the development of the electronic computer." So next time your computer freezes while you're writing that long, unsaved report, before you shake it, hit it, or kick it in, just think how hard it'd be to write the same report with that abacus I told you about, or the machine bigger than your pool deck. Our journey may end here, but that doesn't mean that the evolution of the computer does. Just think, in 50, 60, 70 years, when our great-grandchildren are researching the evolution of the computer, will be one of the stops along the way.